Thanks to the donor car, I now know that this earth point is incorrect, and I know that that should go onto this bracket here. So I'm just going to unbolt that. I can't actually put my camera in here to do it, and it's a bit of a two-handed job, so I will bring you back when I've done it, but that will be one minor job sorted that the donor car helped us answer. And I presume this is because the main earths work better when they go to the chassis, which that bracket joins onto, rather than the body, which obviously is this section here. So hopefully that will improve things overall as well. There we go, that's one job down, one less thing to worry about. And the hole in the bulkhead here, I'll either put a little rubber bung or I'll weld that, whatever works best. Up the front there's not a great deal else I can do at the moment, so I'm going to switch my attention to the interior. I would like to get this wiring for the auxiliary lights in. It means drilling a hole up here to route things properly, but I also just want to put some rust treater and paint on this just to keep it from getting any worse. I've got access now, so it's a good time to do it. While I've been waiting for the rust treater to cure, I've sorted out these trims. The original fabric has shrunk a little bit and the plywood was ruined. I'm trying some foam core board on these, and it's paper on both sides with a foam structure in the middle. It should be okay. I can't see it being a problem, but if it is, I can always redo them. You can see the fabric's not great, but this is mostly hidden by the seats. So yeah, it's just like a little bit that pops up just there. It should be fine. Well, that's one more job done. I've just got to let this dry now, and then I can move on to the next stage. I suppose it would have been better to do the thing I wanted to do before painting this, but it's all needed doing anyway, and I might as well. Also, once this is dry, I'll put these boards back in properly. It gives me something to sit on while I'm sorting this out. Since it's a nice day and they need doing, I've got some paint on the front floorboards on this side. They'll probably take a couple of coats, and I'll flip them and do the other side. It'll just help protect them, especially at the edges of the ply. That's where all your bugs and things get in, so it's a good idea to seal all that up. I've just got myself a little bit stuck at the moment because I'm just waiting on paint to dry. And until that's done, I can't really do much. Busy reconstructing the interior here. I've got the floorboards back in, all of this painted and rust treated and lovely again. I've got the wool felt pads before the main board goes back in. They're not exactly what came out, but they're a pretty close approximation. I don't have a B-pillar trim here. I have to make one. I do have the materials now. But to keep it safe, I put the driver's side one back on, so at least that isn't going to get damaged, and when I've got some time I'll make a pattern. I've flattened these holes here for the armrests, and I've got everything ready for the backboard to go in. I was leaving it out because I wasn't sure on my wiring route, but I'm just going to drill holes in the parcel shelf here. They'll be easy to put right again in the future should somebody wish to, but I'm not really going to be causing any great harm given the condition of the fabric up there, and it's just a steel sheet, so it's very easy to weld holes up in if you wanted to. Also, I don't need the backboard off to run the wires or to drill holes, so it makes sense to put more of the car back together so it's all in one piece again. Just have to make sure I get this in the right way round. I've got the backing board glued on the boot side, and it's tricky to get this in because you've got to tuck all your little bits of fabric in place, and it's a tight fit. that side. Just go boot side and check that that trim's where it needs to be. The trouble I'm having here is these edges on the backing board here are supposed to be over this piece, and then this goes over that. And because I glued this on first, I've sort of got to unstick it a little bit here to get everything over, and it just hides the metal structure. It's a bit fiddly, but we'll get there. I'm so glad I labelled things. This is using Pat's system as well, and it does make things a bit easier. You don't just screw everything from this side, which is what I thought you did. You actually do some of it from inside the cabin, and which are those ones, sorry, and some from inside the boot. Also, there's a couple of long wood screws, and they hold the back seat to the back board, so I can leave those ones in the bag until I'm ready to fix that in permanently, because I think the actual cushiony bit of the seat is going to be in the way when I'm trying to do the wiring. Yeah, lots of fine thread fun times. Well, that was no fun at all, but it's in, and looks quite a lot smarter than when it arrived with us, which is good. I've got all of my wires run here for indicators, brakes, more indicators, so that I can run these up the sides and then to the parcel shelf, which is here. Once all the wires are in, there's then a trim board, as you know, that goes along here and hides everything away, including the wiring for the boot lid. So it'll be nice to get all of that in. In the car, things are now together. We've got the board in so you can't see through to the boot. That was an absolute pain because all of these little screws you see here, only a couple of them actually wanted to line up, and the rest it was just fighting with floating captive nuts. But it's in, and I'm happy with it. It looks really smart. There's no rust on show, which is great. And you access the battery with that flap there. You just turn the little latch, pull on there, and you have access to your connectors down there. Since we don't need to pull the battery out of the car, that makes sense for now. If you do need to remove the battery, then obviously you need to undo all of these screws and take out the whole floor. But we don't, so it's fine. It's time to put the water pump back on, finally. I have just been making a new gasket for it because this is the one that was there. You can buy these gaskets ready-made online. It's how I got the stainless steel backplate and the other gasket that's inside here. I forgot to order one of these, so I'm just using some cork gasket. It should be fine. Same thing's used on the thermostat housing there. I don't foresee any problems. But before we install the water pump, we need to install the engine mount. This is the one that came with the donor car, which looks in pretty good shape. And that will replace ours, which you can see isn't in pretty good shape. So Pat's going to give me a hand with this, because we sort of know what we're doing, but we're not entirely certain. And the first step will be to jack up the engine itself, so that we can remove this mount here. So at the moment I've got the jack under the sump and we're just lifting the engine up, hopefully, to take the weight off the mount.
There you go. Just saw the mount squidge. It just squidged.
Yeah, just see if we go a bit further.
Yep, there you go, it's off.
Good. So now we need to undo this bolt and this bolt, and we should be able to slide the whole thing forwards, I hope. Yeah, that bit's supposed to be attached to that rubber bit. I think the new one will be an improvement. Yeah. Now then, how does that come off? There may be more bolts. I think there's... Oh yeah, there's two under there. So when you've got the mount, it goes that way up. So we've undone these two here, and that plate is supposed to be bonded onto the rubber, and obviously it isn't. So I've now got to get these two that I can't see. I don't even think you can see them with the camera.
Nope.
So let's see if it's the same size. Yeah, it is. Good.
Is that going loose? Because I can see a bolt spinning on the other side.
Oh, there best not be a nut on the... Oh, there's a blooming nut on the back of it. Right, so yeah, the nut will be holding... How on earth do you get in at that? Might have to take the dynamo tensioner bracket off to get in. And I don't know if I've got the right size spanner. Finally got the nut and bolt out that holds it to this big bracket here that goes down to the chassis. The engine is just supported at the moment by the gearbox and the jack to stop it dropping. And this is the old one. You can see the code there is it's a metallastic part, and it's 31 something 28. There's a big chunk missing in the middle. And this is the new one, which is also a metallastic one, and that's 31228. So if you're looking for the part number, that's what it is, although we've had no joy finding one until now. Yeah, we now have to just finagle that back in that gap, which isn't the easiest, but this should solve one of the big problems. And this one, we're not going to throw it away, we're going to see if we can get the rubber parts remade and rebonded to the metal parts. One of the problems with this job is it's really poor for access. You can't see what you're doing, and it helps if there's two of you. So Pat's got a spanner that side, I'm on the ratchet, the radiator side, because that's where your space is. And you just have to persist with it until you get there. Now we've got the bottom one on, which is the hard one to do. We can put the top one on, put the sleeves in, and we already know that the engine is sitting a lot higher than it was, which is good.
I will just say this, the engine hasn't moved, but the car has.
That's a first.
Yeah. All right?
Yeah, just can't get the jack to go down. It can be a bit stubborn sometimes.
Do you know when you did that, the engine didn't move a jot?
Brilliant.
Oh, look.
Yeah, there should be some.
Yeah, because it's got to bounce, and that's the suspension for the engine, basically, isn't it?
Finally. Well, I spent the time making that because I didn't think I'd bought one. I had bought one, so we have a spare. I'm going to fit it with the bought paper one. We've also got a new fan belt and it is a fan belt because it does power the fan, which we haven't been able to fit at all because we've not been able to get the engine high enough with the old mount. And there's some rubber hoses and things in here which need to go on, but we'll figure out what's what with that once we've got the water pump on the car, which is the next job. Now, to do this one, you have 4 bolts that hold it on, 2 long ones to the top because this is upside down at the moment, 2 short ones to the bottom, and they go in here above the engine mount. The bottom ones are kind of tricky to do, but maybe it'll be easier now we've got a new engine mount in there. Let's find out. Another small victory. I got this nut to come off finally. And it just comes off finger tight, goes back on finger tight. I don't know what was wrong with it. I don't know why it was stuck. It wasn't cross-threaded. And these posts do actually spin. Both of them. It doesn't cause a problem with this one. Don't know why it caused a problem with that one. Just did. There's nothing wrong as far as we're aware with the dynamo, so I'm actually just going to chuck it back on the car, put a new connector on the wiring where it snapped off, and just run it. If it's a problem in the future, we'll pop it off and deal with it then, but for now I think it can go back on the car and we'll just use it as is. Well, this got a bit more involved than expected. Radiator loosely fitted back in, new hose on there. The dynamo is back in and it is still a nightmare to get in and out the car. I haven't routed the belt round it at the moment. I want to make sure everything's correct before I do anything with it, and it might need to come off to be adjusted. I'm not sure yet. The capillary tube for the temperature sender is in the water pump, but it's not routed correctly yet. It's just loosely in the engine bay. One thing that's interesting as well, the engine actually moves. Before, with the old engine mount, which well, you can just about see the new one underneath the pump there, it didn't move. The engine was completely solid, and we know why now. What else needs connecting? We've got the heater hoses go from here. There's another pipe that goes down here to the radiator at the bottom there. So there's like a Y pipe comes in here for the heater. I've got to replace the drain tap. The donor did provide one, so that's good. And I think that's probably it under here. There's a few wires to reconnect and that sort of thing, but we're very close to running the car again. In the back, everything's in. I'm just got to plonk the back seat back in. Didn't get any bracket work done today. Oh well, other jobs took precedence. And I've not got the floorboards in the back in yet, but they will be going in very soon. The boot is starting to empty out, which is great. I can move some of this stuff into the lower shelf, and the less stuff in there the better. It's actually nice to see this starting to clear out finally. Have the car coming back into one piece again. It'll be good when we get to the point that the bumpers are back on and all of that sort of business. We're getting pretty close to a light test. Now, we already know from testing that the semaphores do work, but we've not finished the wiring on those. That was going to be something I did today, but I ran out of time. And then the bigger work's going to be repairing the rear arches, repairing the frame. And since I've got the rear arches off, I'm actually going to have a go at doing the sills as well, because I've got the materials at the moment. And it's just a case of plodding through all of these fiddly jobs and getting things back in, like the ignition switch is still hanging out the dashboard. I also want to take out the instrument panel here, because when I did the refurbishment on that I made a mistake with the telltale filters. The donor has some good telltale filters in it, so I've got to dismantle this and swap those over, and that will sort another job. Got to put oil in the steering box. We've got to give the horn a test. We know the horns work, the wiring should work, so it'd be good to hear it go beep. And Yeah, the leather, unfortunately, the seats have had one round of repairs, but the leather on them is going again. I think eventually we'll probably have to retrim the seats, which is a bit sad, but we'll see. We'll see how we go. They might be salvageable yet.